My name is James Williams Jr. Welcome to Comfort Habit number 2, and we were on Arrow when I last talked to you. So, and I was also crunching on these cheese noodles. Just a Cheetah side. So, pros and cons of Arrow. Mostly pros. Very few cons. Because they do introduce you to other people in the show who also deviate from their characters in a comic book. Because apparently Treasure helped Oliver out in Hong Kong and stuff, which was cool. Which again, like I said, if you read the old Green Arrow, a lot of things that happened on the show didn't happen. It's really the only con I have. Really, the only con I have is that he's not really living Oliver Queen's life, except for the part about Liam, and he has another son with another one, but I can't remember. I think that one actually comes from the Black Canary, but the other one was one from when he was younger, and his son's just as good with an arrow and bow as he is. So, no. I also don't recall in any of the old Arrows him being so close to Spartan. But, this show works. It kicks ass. Stephen Amell is a great fucking actor. He does Arrow very well, and congratulations on being Casey Jones, by the way. And, not to deviate, if you have any cons about Arrow, I'd like to know what they are, because honestly, the show is fucking awesome. It's just that he's been living the life of Bruce Wayne for most of the show, with the exception of Deathstroke, and with the exception of a couple of other people. Some of the villains he fought actually belonged to Batman. And as far as the League of Assassins and the other assassin thing that they've done, all those belong to Batman. I don't recall Oliver Queen ever having any of that done, but for all story purposes in the show, I like it. I won't change it, and I have said bad and good things about that, but mostly, for the people who don't know, unless this is based on the Arrow from the New 52s, he's never had a relationship with Ra's al Ghul's daughter. That's about the only thing I didn't like, because Talia's only one true love has always been Bruce Wayne. But like I said, when they make these shows, you just don't know what universe they're using. So, hey, it's working. Don't change a thing. Glad it's on. Love Steve Amell. He's doing very good as Oliver Queen. Hopefully, when the season kicks off again, it will be even better than the season that just came with Damien Dark. Because a lot of these actors switch ships. Because Damien Dark played a Marvel character. I can't remember which one it was, but he played a Marvel character as well as the bad guy in Walking Tall. Now let's not get them mistaken with James Remar, because he's not James Remar, who played a bad guy in a Phantom and then took over the role of Raiden in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation movie. I'm sure you guys probably don't remember that, but I do, because Christopher Lambert didn't come back, and Christopher Lambert doesn't know martial arts. He knows fencing, but he doesn't know martial arts. Well, James Remar actually does know martial arts. It's like the same thing when Wesley surprised everybody with Passenger 57. I'm deviating. Anyway, so, in the short, with the Arrow, wouldn't change nothing. It's working. It's great. The writers are good. The actors are great. I'm never going to be on the show, but that was totally freaking awesome. Some breaking news just came across my screen. Sorry. Anyway, we're going to move on to my favorite of the DC shows. So we've covered Supergirl, we've covered Gotham, and we've covered Arrow. I didn't give Arrow a whole lot because I did insult Arrow when it first came out, and I did insult it. I insulted it badly because I'm a Batman fan, and everything Oliver Queen has done, except for the little island thing when it came to the League of Nations and all that. I'll be honest, none of that shit happened to him. Now, I don't know about the island stuff, but the League of Assassins and all the other stuff with Vandal Savage or whatever, all that shit happened to Bruce Wayne. Alright, let's get that clear. So like I said, and I apologize, unless they're doing the New 52s, everything that Oliver's done for the first few seasons, it kind of deviated between his life and Bruce Wayne's life. Now, the Undertaking and all that stuff, all that shit's Oliver Queen. But as far as the League of Assassins and all that shit was Bruce Wayne's. So don't get it twisted. Alright? Thank you guys for that good show, though. It's an awesome ass show, and I'm not insulting it. I'm praising it, and I'm not trying to get on it. But you get where I'm going. So let's go to Legends of Tomorrow. That way I can do the Flash last because it's like my favorite of them all. It's always been my favorite. And for those who don't know, Flash was the first DC show that I recall going to TV. I'm wrong, by the way, because the first DC show that I believe went to TV was Batman, and then Wonder Woman. Batman's been on TV at least 3 times, to be honest. He was a serial in the 40s, because they had that black and white show, and it was a Tucker. And then Adam West did Batman, and then they went to the movies after that. But prior to the movies, it was Adam West who played Batman. And then Michael Keaton did it in the movies, and it went from there. But also, after that, Wonder Woman came on TV in the 70s or the 80s. I think it was the 70s. Linda Carter played her. Somebody played her before that, so I've been told, but I'm not gonna. You guys can Google all this crap to verify what I'm saying, and you can call me a liar or whatever. And I know what I know, and that's pretty much the gist of it. I am 42, so I've been on Earth a little bit long enough to know where the shows came from, because Linda Carter was the sexiest Wonder Woman. Anyway, moving on, because she doesn't have a TV show. We're going to go to the Legends of Tomorrow, and just like before I do that, the other recap, John Ship was the first one to play the Flash in the 90s, and all the high school kids that picked on me were the first ones to come and ask me about the Flash, right? I remember you motherfuckers. Anyway, thank you, John Wesley Slip, for being on the Flash. Anyway, let's move on to Legends of Tomorrow so that I can get to the Flash before my 20-minute mark. Cheetos. Don't leave home without them. I would say it's something to substitute, but I like the other brand better. So, we're going on to Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow, based on a bunch of DC comic characters that I remember, but I don't remember Legends of Tomorrow. Because when it comes to DC Comics, I deviated. If the comic book cover was cool, I buy the comic and read it. Sometimes that was great. Sometimes that was a kick in the face, because the comic doesn't get cool to the end of the comic, and then you have to go buy the other one the next month, and then the comic cover isn't cool, and you buy it, and the comic's cool as shit, but then you're like, well, damn, why y'all didn't put that in the episode with that in the freaking cover? And a long time ago, comics, like the cover picture, would actually be inside the comic somewhere. I don't know why they stopped doing that. Anyway, moving on. So, Legends of Tomorrow, you have Firestorm, the Atom, the White Canary, and you have Hawkman and Hawkwoman, and you have Dr. Freeze or Captain Cole or whatever the hell his name is, and you have the other guy with the blowtorch who I can't remember. So since I'm not a big DC fan, I will say that I have nothing bad to say about Legends of Tomorrow, because that show fucking rocks. Now, I'm not a big DC fan, so I don't really know. I do know that Ray Palmer, the Atom, I'm pretty sure that his powers were not in his suit, but again, it's based on TV reality, and they're probably New 52s as well, so I can't really confirm or deny. But I do know that the Atom's power was to shrink itty bitty and grow really big. So, just like Ant-Man and Gigantic Man, or Yellow Jacket, or whatever you want to call him, Henry Pym, their names are kind of similar also. You got Ray Palmer and you got Dr. Henry Pym. But then Ant-Man's been 3 different people. So, and that was before he gave up the suit and retired. But then you have Ray Palmer. And Ray Palmer has always been the only Atom that I've ever known. So, the guy that's playing him, Brandon Raw, he once played Superman in Superman Returns. He's the one with the bullet hitting the eye and shattering and not doing anything to him. Just pissing off whatever. Anyway, moving back on, giving Ray Palmer his props as Superman. I will say that this show is totally fucking awesome. I don't really know all the origins. I do know the origin of Firestorm. He's the only one I know. I don't know when Firestorm became black. I'm not knocking it. I'm actually pretty happy about that, because DC never really had that much diversity when it came to superheroes. And as far as I knew, and now I'm probably wrong now, but back when I was younger, they had like maybe 4 black superheroes. John Stewart, Cyborg, and Black Bolt, And I don't remember the other guy. But somewhere between the 90s and the 2000s, they started getting more black superheroes like Spartan and Static Shock and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, I was grateful when they started changing things around. And when they made Firestorm have a black guy and a white guy merge instead of a white guy and a white guy merge, it kind of like reignited people's fan base for Firestorm. If anything, it brought more color people toward Firestorm. And if you watch the old cartoons from Hanna-Barbera, Firestorm was the shit, you know. But the thing was, um, it was a different era, and people were too afraid to complain about racial diversity in the superhero world. But see, I never had that problem with Marvel because Marvel, whatever your color was, hey man, they had a hero for you. So that's kind of why Marvel has had an abundance of success with colored people reading comic books because it wasn't just stuck to we have a white Captain America, but we don't have anybody who's like a black equivalent. Well, you're wrong. You have like 2 or 3 people that are a black equivalent. Where, see, in DC, you kind of really didn't get that option. So we're not going to go there. We're just going to keep doing positive stuff about these shows. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to Legends of Tomorrow, again, some of the stuff Bruce Wayne had a hell of an influence in, and Legends of Tomorrow are doing that too. But without the time travel thing, Bruce Wayne fought Vandal Savage the longest. You know, but Bruce Wayne also knew about Vandal Savage before everyone else also. But I don't recall Vandal Savage being able to die. I know he was immortal, and in the end, he wound up in like being the master of time or some shit, where he would just watch and watch and watch as time goes on, not being able to do anything. He was more like a watcher type character. But I don't really remember Vandal Savage's origins. You know, I don't recall him ever fighting Jonah Hex. But you know, hey, it works for good TV. And since Jonah Hex was the very first comic book I ever read before I found out I was part Native American, you know, all hell's out. And if he got a TV series, that would be great too. But we're not going to go there. We're not going to pitch a Western Jonah Hex, because if that's the case, you can bring back the Outlaw Briscoe County Jr. TV show with Bill Campbell. Yeah, I watched it. Go ahead, say it. But anyway, I'm going to get off of that and go to my favorite DC show of all time. I'm not going to compare it with the old Flash, but the new Flash is fucking phenomenal. Alright? I gotta take a chip crunch, right? Because it's so phenomenal that you're gonna watch me. Missed that one. So, let's talk about the Flash. The Flash, Barry Allen. So if you've been watching the last 2 seasons, stay on. If you haven't been watching any seasons of The Flash, now it's time for you to hit the button and go to another video. Or go back and watch the videos before this. So, Barry Allen, forensic scientist slash cop, was working in his lab one night during a lightning storm. Struck by lightning in a room full of crazy ass chemicals, endowed him with the connection of the Speed Force. Of course, you don't really know this part until the show clarifies that he got connected to the Speed Force, and that the Speed Force chose him. It wasn't like an accident. It was like literally the Speed Force chose him. Now the show got that exactly right. Now in the 90s, and I'm not comparing, because John What's the Ship did the best job that he could do with the tech that they had. In the 90s, with him and Amanda Paint, they were great. They did the special effects. It was great. Now that they have higher, better Flash technology and tech, they can make the show. But in the 90s, they don't really dab into the Speed Force, but they do dab in him running through time and all that other stuff. You have to watch it because he was running to try and stop a rocket in the 90s, and he got hit and plummeted like 2,000 or 10 years or so into the future because he met up with his friend who they thought lost him. He's like, well, where'd you go? He's like, I don't know. I just woke up here. I know I stopped the missile. He said, yeah, you stopped the missile, but we couldn't find you. Like your body was not there when we got to ground zero. So if you don't know about that, you should Google it and go watch it. So now we're gonna spend out the last 5 minutes dealing with the current Flash. And by looking at this time, this is gonna have to become a 3-parter. So I'm gonna try to make this to a 20-minute mark. Sorry, I'm hungry. But it's snack hungry, not hungry. So we have the Flash. The guy that's playing him, nice young guy, doing very well with the Flash. First, let me thank you all for changing Iris into a black girl and making her brother, Wally, a black guy, and the daddy black. Thank you guys very much for that. So it's going to be real interesting to find out if you guys are going to bring in Impulse and his sister. So, if you haven't watched the first 2 seasons, again, time to go. Get off the video right now. Don't watch, because I'm about to drop some stuff that you probably want to see for yourself. Alright? At the end of the season, they do get together at the end of this season that just ended until Barry fucks up. Okay? So Barry has changed the space-time continuum and stuff. So we don't know how everything's going to work out for season 3. But we do know that it's getting one. And it's great. So, let's throw you back. We have Barry Allen working in a science lab at the police station, struck by lightning, lands through chemicals, all that shit, in a coma for 9 months. Okay, up to speed on that? Good. So that's how the first season begins. You know, it's a spin-off of Arrow. And somewhere along the line they meet. And Barry goes and I think somebody makes him something. And he gets a suit or whatever. And then Arrow explains to him how it happens. And they have collaborated shows where they've all been on each other's shows, which is fucking awesome. So, after that happens, you know, he goes and he fights Reverse Flash, or what they call Evil and Thawne. I didn't say that name right, but anyway, you guys, if you watch it, you know who the fuck I'm talking about. So, if you've been watching that, then you know that Barry Allen has done everything he can to make sure that everything is perfect. And he gets to be with the girl finally, but then he fucks up and runs back in time and like undoes the things that he should not have done. Which they touched on that in the first season when he saw himself and he told him don't do it, and so he didn't do it and he came back. Well, in this season he does it, and I don't know why he would do something that stupid, but I don't write the show. You know, I just watch it because I love it. So instead of making this a 3-parter, I'm just gonna keep going because I'm at the 18-minute mark. You know, YouTube has a thing about things being more than 30 minutes. So since this is the final part, I want it to be on the Flash. Now, if you are a Flash fan, then you know that the next Flash, Kid Flash, excuse me, the next Flash is Wally West, who in the comic book, I don't think he was related to Iris, like, directly. He was her cousin. I mean, they're directly by blood, but, you know, he wasn't her brother. He was her cousin. So, that's cool and everything, because Iris was supposedly an only child, but they revamped it, and they changed things up for the show, and that's awesome, and they're black, so you can't get mad at that. So, that's cool, and everything. And I was like, well, okay, so is Wally going to get powers, like, doing the show, you know, because that would be awesome to have 2 Flashes running around and fucking shit up and stuff. And then, they've done a whole lot of things with Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash. They've done a whole lot of things with, like, family connections, because apparently the Golden Age Flash is like the great uncle of Barry Allen on his mom's side or some shit like that, who's also somehow connected to the Speed Force, but he's not as connected to the Speed Force as Barry Allen. So apparently one of the Allens of one place or another has some genetic connection to the Speed Force, which makes it easier for Barry to be part of the Speed Force. It was his destiny to be the Flash, whether he likes it or not. That's basically what it boils down to. and the show is basically proving that, and it did prove it at this last injunction of the season finale, that somehow or another Barry is like totally connected to the Speed Force genetically or some shit like that. So if he's connected, and Impulse, which is Bart Allen, named after Barry but not Bartholomew Jr. or whatever. So, if they're all connected, and Bart has a twin sister, so I forgot what her name is, but Impulse has a twin sister, so I don't remember if she ever uses her powers or anything. But anyway, not to deviate from the show. This show is fucking awesome. And if you watch the show, now this is probably part, again, where you should change out. Now, I don't remember much about Wally, but I do know that I like where the show has gone with Wally, so that's not too bad. I like how the show's gone with Iris. It's not too bad. And the thing with the Flash is, like, now that they have the tech, they're bringing in enemies like really right out of the comic book. And the only one I don't remember is the land shark guy. I don't remember him, but I do remember all the other people that Barry has fought, and I was like, yeah, those guys actually are his enemies, especially Zoom and Reverse Flash, which I think actually might be the same guy. I'm not going to swear to it because, again, my DC comic knowledge is not as fathomable as my Marvel comic knowledge. So in knowing that, you need to understand where I'm coming from. What I know of the Flash, I do know that the main reason that they use Barry Allen is because he's the most popular Flash. He was even more popular than Jay Garrick, and he was even more popular than Wally, and he was damn sure more popular than Impulse, even though Impulse is his son or grandson. I don't really remember how they worked that out, but Impulse is directly related to Barry Allen on some genetic level or another, and he's not like a clone or anything, unless that's what they're going to do now. But, when you're watching these shows, you're like, wow, the things that they have brought to life from the comic book is just fucking awesome. So, in a nutshell, if you're a Flash fan, you will really love the Flash. And I think his name's Grant or something. I don't know what the heck the kid that's playing the Flash, his real name is, but he's awesome as the Flash. He looks the part. He almost looks exactly like the guy who is drawn, or as Barry Allen, he kind of actually looks like the guy. So, it's a really good show. And they haven't deviated from his enemies or have not made him fight like Batman's enemies. But I will give you this, because all comic books have the same rule. A supervillain in any comic book of DC has battled at least one or two superheroes in that comic book universe once or twice. And it's the same thing with Marvel. But I'm going to try to stay away from Marvel, but I'm going to say this. Everybody in Marvel has fought Doctor Doom. Everybody in Marvel has fought Galactus. Everybody in Marvel has fought somebody on some level or another, and they've all had to deal with, like, the thugs, like Rhino and Juggernaut. So, DC has basically done the same thing, but every comic book genre has done that. I don't think Dark Horse has done it, but since we're on the Flash, I'm going to end this in the next 3 minutes, or the next 7 minutes, depending on how much I can get out of my... With the Flash, the technology is great, the special effects are awesome, and him throwing lightning bolts and shit. Again, like I said, if you haven't been watching the show, this is not the video for you. You probably don't want to watch this. So he's gotten to the point where he can throw lightning. He's gotten to the point where he's discovered some things about Jay Garrick and Professor Zoom, or whatever the hell you want to call them. And he's done everything he can to fight the bad guys. And he's done an excellent job at doing it. They haven't deviated from the comic much, but I also can't really say that they have, or they haven't, because I haven't read a Flash comic since the death of the Flash. And I can't really remember what year that was, but, if it's all the same to you, I haven't really read a DC comic in a very long time. And the same thing is, I haven't really read Marvel comic in a long time either, but when I was reading them, I was up to speed. So the shows, the shows are as accurate as you can get, with the exception of a couple of deviations. But the thing with me is, so far, I like The Flash the most out of all of the 5 shows that DC have on TV. So let's give you the rundown of the shows real quick before I end this. You have Gotham. You have Supergirl. You have Legends of Tomorrow. You have Arrow that started it all. And you have The Flash. So DC is totally ruling the airways right now of TV. And if you checked out my other videos about why actors leave shows, I'm the actor that's gonna be the one you have to get. Like the only way I'm leaving your shows, you have to kill me off, and you're gonna pay to kill me off. Clear and simple. You're gonna pay to kill me off. You're gonna pay big bucks, because I'm gonna be able to eat and live for a long time when you pay my lawyer and me for killing me off the show before my contract ends. All right, I'm James Williams Jr. This has been Kung Fu Havoc #2. It's been great reviewing the DC Rule the Airways TV show or review. If you guys don't like what I said, I respect your opinions and I thank you. And like I said, I'm not as big of a DC fan as I am Marvel. So I'm not going to be mad at the insults that's going to be at the bottom of the screen on all the videos. But the problem is, see, I came up differently with comics and TV shows when I was coming up. They didn't have the tech, and the very few shows that were on, they were what they were. Somebody did a show about the old Captain America movie. I'm going to do a video about that right after this. My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc #2. Thank you. Williams out.